Next time on EWTN Pro-Life Weekly, Bishop Kevin Rhoades answers top questions about that Eucharistic document the U.S. bishops just approved. What does it mean for President Joe Biden? And meet a new co-chair of the House Pro-Life Caucus. That's next time on EWTN Pro-Life Weekly tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Welcome, I'm Catherine Hadro, and this is EWTN Pro-Life Weekly. Pro-Life appointment. Meet the new co-chair of the House Pro-Life Caucus, Representative Michelle Fischbach of Minnesota. Hear how she plans to advance the pro-life cause on Capitol Hill and what her top priority is today.
That's a private matter, and I don't think that's going to happen.
What does the U.S. Bishop's document on the Eucharist mean for Catholic and pro-abortion President Joe Biden? We speak with the chairman of the U.S. Bishop's Doctrine Committee, Bishop Kevin Rhoades, to discuss what the document will mean and what it will not mean for pro-abortion politicians. Superhero Moms, a pro-life group in Canada, has released a powerful new video showcasing the strength of mothers, encouraging them amid a society that can be hostile to motherhood. We speak to the founder and director of Choice for Two. The House Congressional Pro-Life Caucus appoints two new female co-chairs, freshman Representatives Kat Cammack of Florida and Michelle Fischbach of Minnesota. The new co-chairs make up two of the newly elected female members of Congress during what's been a historic number of pro-life women elected to the U.S. House this term. Cammack has joined EWTN Pro-Life Weekly before when she shared with us how she was almost aborted, but her mother chose life in the face of pressure from doctors. Fischbach has previously served 22 years in the Minnesota State Senate, even serving as the state's first female Senate president, where she led multiple initiatives to protect mothers and their unborn children. In Congress, Fischbach has already authored the Protecting Life and Taxpayers Act of 2021 to block taxpayer funding of groups that perform abortion. Fischbach is Catholic. She and Cammack joined the two other co-chairs of the House Pro-Life Caucus, Representatives Chris Smith of New Jersey and Andy Harris of Maryland. Joining us from Capitol Hill is the new House Pro-Life Caucus co-chair herself, Representative Michelle Fischbach of Minnesota. Welcome to the show, Congresswoman, and congratulations on your new role. First, what's your reaction to your pro-life appointment?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me on, but I am certainly honored to be the co-chair of the Pro-Life Caucus because it is such an important issue, and so I'm honored to be able to lead on that issue.
Absolutely, it's an important caucus. What is your top pro-life priority in the House of Representatives, and how do you plan to navigate the pro-abortion majority in the House?
Well, you know, we are navigating a pro-abortion majority, and it is more difficult, particularly with the Biden administration and their radical pro-abortion agenda. But, you know, we've introduced the Protecting Life and Taxpayers Act this year, and what we are really trying to do is make sure that our taxpayer dollars are not going to fund abortion, and that is one of our top priorities this year because they are continuing attacks on the Hyde Amendment and those protections that taxpayers have.
Absolutely. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who is also Catholic, gave this response last week when asked whether she thinks an unborn baby at 15 weeks is a human being. Take a listen to this.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm with CNS News. The Supreme Court this fall will review a Mississippi law that bans most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. Is an unborn baby at 15 weeks a human being?
Let me just say that I'm a big supporter of Roe v. Wade. I am a mother of 5 children in 6 years. I think I have some standing on this issue as to respecting a woman's right to choose.
Is it a human being?
Yes.
Speaker Pelosi.
Congresswoman, what is your response to what Speaker Pelosi had to say?
You know, it is unfortunate that she is using her role as a mother to cover up the fact that this really truly is an unborn child. It is a human being, and she is using that fact, her motherhood, to say that she has standing and the rest of us don't, to protect Roe versus Wade. And like I said, it is very unfortunate because we all know that that unborn child is a human being and deserves all of the rights and protections humans have.
Absolutely. I understand you are Catholic as well. Last week, 60 of your Catholic Democrat colleagues in the House released a statement of principles with a message to the U.S. bishops, asking them not to withhold Holy Communion to Democratic lawmakers who support abortion. They called it a weaponization of the Eucharist. Did you hear about that, and what do you make of that?
Well, I did hear about that, and I absolutely disagree with them regarding that. And they should not be getting into church politics. They should certainly be respecting what the bishops have to say and what the Catholic Church teaches.
Does your Catholic faith shape your pro-life beliefs?
Yes, it does, but it also is just a deep fundamental belief in the right to life of the unborn and believing in the protection of life from conception to natural death. And I believe it's so fundamental that all religions should be encompassing it, but I'm particularly proud that the Catholic faith does promote it.
For our viewers who are meeting you for the first time, what do you want them to know about your pro-life background and what this issue means to you personally?
Well, it is so fundamental, so important. It is a deep-held belief, and like I said, from conception to natural death, and that we should be protecting life. It means so much to know that there is a pro-life legislator. When I'm visiting and meeting and working with other pro-life legislators, it is that basic fundamental belief that makes them able to move forward and do the right thing for the people of the United States.
Well, thank you for your yes in this new pro-life leadership role. We're grateful to have you and to meet you, Representative Michelle Fischbach of Minnesota. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate the opportunity to say a few words today. Thank you.
Absolutely. God bless. And joining us now on Skype is Marilyn Musgrave, former U.S. Representative for the state of Colorado, and today the Vice President of Government Affairs for the Susan B. Anthony list. Congresswoman, welcome back. First, what is your reaction to Representative Fischbach being named co-chair of the House Pro-Life Caucus? How significant is this?
Well, it's very significant. What great news. Michelle Fischbach made history in Minnesota. She served over 2 decades in the Senate there and twice was elected Senate president. No woman had ever held that position before. She authored the informed consent bill in the Senate there and advocated for life on every occasion, and she's doing that in Congress right now. We couldn't be happier.
She's certainly a leader. As a former representative yourself, what's your advice today to the Pro-Life Caucus on how they can navigate a pro-abortion majority in Congress?
Well, the pro-abortion majority is so extreme. And I think that the pro-life leaders need to counter that by demanding a vote on Born Alive. All the Republicans, 211 of them, have signed the discharge petition, including our 31 pro-life women. And they just have to advocate for high protections at every turn and also really expose the other side for them wanting to do away with all the rules to push their abortion agenda.
I understand that the budget battle over the Hyde Amendment is beginning this week on Capitol Hill. What should our viewers know?
Well, they should be aware that we not only have the Hyde Amendment, but we have over 24 amendments that have been added through the years that protect life. There's the Dornan Amendment that prohibits taxpayer funding of abortions in D.C., the Helms Amendment, which prohibits taxpayer funding of abortions overseas, the Dickey-Wicker Amendment, for instance, that prohibits our tax dollars going for human embryo, the destruction of human embryos in research. So all of these are incredibly important, and our pro-life friends have to fight for those protections.
Absolutely. This week, a reporter asked White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki about President Joe Biden's views on unborn life. Take a listen.
Does the president believe that a 15-week-old unborn baby is a human being?
Are you asking me if the president supports a woman's right to choose? He does.
Congresswoman, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm just appalled. A right to choose, talking about a baby at 15 weeks whose faithful little heart is beating, fully developed, pumping 26 pints of blood through the system. The fully developed little nose and eyelids, and this baby has expressions, can swallow and hiccup and has those facial expressions. This is clearly a human being. And to be so cavalier about that precious unborn child is so disheartening. It is a human being. It can feel pain.
Absolutely. Oh, it's so disheartening. You know, you heard our interview with Representative Michelle Fischbach, and she is one of the pro-life women elected this Congress that has a historic number of pro-life women. Can you speak to this exciting time with the pro-life women in the House? And do you think pro-lifers should be concerned at all that Representative Fischbach is a freshman Congresswoman in this new leadership role?
Well, I think her joining Chris Smith, I mean, what a hero. Dr. Andy Harris, these pro-life doctors are worth their weight in gold. And now adding this woman who has devoted much of her life to defending the unborn child. She may be a freshman, but she's hit the ground running. And this beautiful class of these pro-life women, they have made history, and they're going to continue to make history. We couldn't be happier. You know, women have a unique role to play in this movement, and Michelle Fischbach and the others are going to be an example for pro-life women around this country, especially young women that are looking to pro-life leaders.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see that history being made. Marilyn Musgrave with the Susan B. Anthony List, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
In what was a resounding majority, 75% of U.S. bishops last week voted in favor of drafting a document on the meaning of the Eucharist in the life of the Church. The vote followed what was at times spirited debate during the bishop's virtual spring assembly.
As all of this is being debated back and forth, there is an expectation out there by people, because of what some bishops are arguing for, that we deny communion to the president, to Speaker Pelosi, and to other people that are being named. I don't know how we get around that if we pass on this document.
Those who advocate for abortion no longer talk in the language of choice. They talk about it as a right. That's what our president talks about, it as a right. It's really those in public life who then flaunt their Catholicity, love to describe themselves as devout Catholics, and then act in these ways simultaneously.
Once we legitimate public policy-based Eucharistic exclusion as a regular part of our teaching office, and that is the road to which we are headed, we will invite all of the political animosities that so tragically divide our nation into the very heart of the Eucharistic celebration.
The meeting became major news across mainstream media. Take a look at some of these headlines. The New York Times, targeting Biden, Catholic bishops advance controversial communion plan. The Guardian, Biden threatened with communion ban over position on abortion. And the Associated Press, U.S. Catholic bishops okay steps toward possible rebuke of Biden. Here's how President Biden reacted last week to a question on the upcoming document.
The Catholic bishops are moving on this resolution that would prevent you and others who've supported abortion from receiving communion. Are you concerned about the rift in the Catholic Church, and how do you feel personally about that?
That's a private matter, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Joining us now on Zoom to clarify what the Eucharistic Coherence document is and what it is not is the very man leading the charge, Bishop Kevin Rhoades, the chairman of the U.S. Bishops' Committee on Doctrine. Your Excellency, welcome to the show. Let's dive right in. Is this document on the Eucharist aimed at President Joe Biden?
Well, first of all, thank you, Catherine, for having me on the show. That was the media narrative in the secular media. But no, the document is for all Catholics, and it's a document that is part of our efforts to have our Eucharistic revival in the Church. And we want to really present the full truth about the Holy Eucharist. Eucharistic consistency is one part of the document, but it might be help to understand what exactly will be in the document, though we are just beginning to write it. We have an outline. We're going to begin with a section on the Eucharist as a mystery to be believed. We have to begin with what is the Holy Eucharist, this amazing gift from the Lord. And we know that there's some crisis in Eucharistic faith. They've done polls that show that a number of Catholics think it's a symbol or have other erroneous ideas. So we really want to be clear about the truth of the Eucharist, that this gift which the Lord gave us the night before he died is truly himself, his very body and blood. And also the Eucharist is an event. It's the celebration of the Lord's passion, death, and resurrection. And that becomes present on the altar, his sacrifice of self-giving love. And then the second part, which is also really important. By the way, these three parts of the document aren't original from us. Pope Benedict XVI, in his apostolic letter on the Eucharist, it's beautiful, 15 years ago or so, it's called the Sacrament of Charity. This is how he divided it. The Eucharist as a mystery to be believed. Secondly, a mystery to be celebrated. And third, a mystery to be lived. So the second part, a mystery to be celebrated. I mean, we should celebrate Mass, celebrate the Eucharist with reverence, with beauty. I mean, this is the summit of our faith when we gather, especially on Sunday, for the celebration of the liturgy. It should be very carefully and beautifully celebrated, where we actively participate, the music, everything, the preaching, and then leading up, of course, to the climax, which is at the altar. So that'll be the second part. The third part, and this is where there was some controversy, the Eucharist is a mystery to be lived. And this is absolutely essential. Someone asked, well, Bishop Rhoades, if you cut out the third part, it won't be controversial. Why don't we just do the first two parts? I said, no, the full truth about the Eucharist, we can't, it's a mystery to be lived. It's not just something in church, but it's to go out and live what we receive. The Eucharist, why did Jesus give it to us as food for our souls, so that we would bear witness to him, that we would bring him his life?
That's really helpful context. I want to move on to a few other questions that I think a lot of people and viewers and Catholics have right now. Do you see this move to advance the document as defying the Vatican? It has been depicted that way by some.
No, I mean, we always teach in communion with the successor of St. Peter. And we've even had, contacts with the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. We're totally, this is the faith of the Church. This is what's in the Catechism of the Catholic Church. This is what we believe through the ages. Some presented that erroneously. Now, with the letter, the famous letter that we received from Cardinal Ladaria, the prefect for the Congregation of the Doctrine of the Faith, made it clear that, we should not be doing legislation on national norms, national policy, because that would involve a lot more steps. So we have to be faithful to canon law. We never intended to have national norms. It's up to individual bishops when it comes to enforcing the discipline of the church or applying the discipline of the church. But no, I mean, even while we're doing the document, we're going to be in contact with Rome. We'll work together. I mean, that's what it means to be Catholic. This isn't U.S. bishops versus the Vatican. No, we're one body in Christ.
Absolutely.
So,
and can you clarify why create this specific document, since the U.S. bishops addressed the topic of the Eucharist in 2006?
A lot has happened since then. The document that the bishops passed in 2006 was really very good. But, we have a lot of rich teaching that we hope to bring into this document. For example, from the pontificate of Pope Benedict XVI, and the pontificate of Pope Francis. If you read the U.S. Bishop's document back in 2006, a lot of it's based on the beautiful encyclical by St. John Paul II, Ecclesia de Eucharistia. I'm trying to think of how to say that in English. Church from the Eucharist. I forget how they translated it. But there's a lot more. Plus, the situation today. I mean, things have gotten worse, not better, when it comes to these matters. So it is important that we present this document on the Eucharist and what it means for us in our lives as disciples of Jesus.
Speaking of matters today, following the bishop's vote on this last week, a group of 60 Catholic Democrats in the U.S. House issued a statement of principles with a message to the U.S. bishops that withholding communion to lawmakers who support abortion is contradictory. Did you hear about this, Your Excellency? And what are your thoughts on this kind of statement from lawmakers? Are they the ones politicizing this issue?
Yes, I mean, I think they misunderstand, or maybe some of them have never really been educated enough in the faith. I mean, after I read that, I was thinking, you know, that there's a lot of need for catechesis, including among those representatives. Catechesis on the Eucharist, and also catechesis on the Church's teachings about human life and dignity in the womb. And, you know, reading that, it also, there was, I think, a quote in it from the Second Vatican Council. And I thought, well, one can selectively choose from the council. It was a very good quote. However, the Second Vatican Council says abortion and euthanasia are unspeakable crimes. And I thought, how can they quote one part of the council and just ignore this other and say, well, it's fine to be Catholic, and not defend the life of the innocent. So I would love to sit down and talk with these legislators. I don't, you know them personally, and but it's saddened me, you know. And I remember way back, and these were the House, and shouldn't be political. I mean, this is for everyone. I don't care if someone's Republican or Democrat, and abortion, euthanasia are not the only issues. I mean, we have a consistent ethic of life. But it's sad for me because I remember, I'm from Pennsylvania. I remember growing up, there were so many pro-life Democrats. And, you know, we certainly need pro-life Democrats and pro-life Republicans today.
We need more, absolutely. Well, thank you for your clarity and for taking the time to come on this week. Bishop Kevin Rhoades, Chairman of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops Committee on Doctrine. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you too, Catherine.
Thank you. Coming up, 2 women who call themselves abortion doulas release a children's book promoting abortion propaganda. What you need to know as I speak out next.
It's just kind of the overall introduction message that we would want women who are considering abortion to get.
Plus, a Canadian pro-life group launches a new video showcasing how moms truly are superheroes.
What we're trying to do is tell the United States Catholic history story.
Join Father Charles Connor as he takes you to the birthplace of the Catholic Church in the United States. In the face of intense persecution, discover how our Catholic ancestors courageously evangelized the New World. Explore our nation's Catholic beginnings, Sunday at 11 p.m. Eastern on EWTN.
Spend some time with the saints every weekday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Every day, a different show, a different focus, centered around the Church Triumphant. Monday, Michael O'Neill introduces you to miracle workers, martyrs, and ordinary people living extraordinary lives. See why they might be saints. Tuesday, learn how to pray like a beloved doctor of the Church with Teresa of Avila. personality, and prayer. Wednesday, Father John Horgan shows you why saints of the past are still saints for today. Thursday, join Sister Joan Noreen on a Eucharistic journey with St. Thomas Aquinas. And Friday, discover the sacrifices and extraordinary faith in the lives of the saints. Explore what the saints can teach us. Weekdays at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on EWTN.
Welcome back to EWTN Pro-Life Weekly. I'm Catherine Hadro. Two women who call themselves abortion doulas are now spreading their pro-abortion message to the younger generation, children. That is this week's Speak Out segment. Two women named Carly Maines and M created a new children's book called What's an Abortion Anyway? The book, the creators say, is a non-judgmental book about abortion for children. The book's website states, quote, "We believe in building a world for kids and adults where abortion is normalized as another outcome of pregnancy, just like miscarriage and birth." The creators of What's an Abortion Anyway recently did a live reading of the book online. Listen for yourself.
Some people have an abortion. An abortion is when someone decides to stop growing their pregnancy.
There are many different ways that people who are pregnant can have an abortion. Some people see a doctor who does a special procedure to remove the pregnancy from inside a person's body. Other people take medicine to stop the pregnancy from growing bigger.
The creators say they plan to have the book in libraries and in young children's hands by the fall. What's an Abortion Anyway will also be translated into Spanish. This children's book is full of abortion propaganda and deception. It denies scientific reality using the euphemism a pregnancy for an unborn baby and calling mothers people who are pregnant, as the book's creators believe any gender can get pregnant and have an abortion. But euphemisms and colorful illustrations cannot mask the ugly reality of what an abortion is: the intentional killing of a young, small, vulnerable human being. Abortion is not some casual lifestyle choice, and it is deeply offensive to conflate abortion with miscarriage. And incredibly alarming, these are messages being sent to our children. It is our duty to guard and protect children, not to lead them astray. As Jesus tells us, whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone hung around his neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Our Lord does not mince his words. Let us continue to protect children in the womb from abortion and protect young children from this kind of abortion propaganda. For this week's Pro-Life Focus, we look at a creative way one Canadian pro-life group is helping moms to overcome pressures from society.
So you're pregnant. You didn't plan this. You didn't want it. And now you have a choice to make. Take a breath. You can do this. I'm going to be real with you, though. The choices that our society and the media are going to present you with, they're not all equal. Right now, your baby's heart is already beating. That started about 21 days after conception. We're talking about another human being here, and not just any human being, your baby.
This new video from Choice42 has already racked up thousands and thousands of views online. The inspiring video empowers mothers with the truth that they are strong and capable of choosing life. Choice42 is a pro-life group in Canada with a focus on educating people about the horrible dangers and consequences of abortions. Choice42 also helps expectant mothers in need through educational programs and financial assistance. We spoke to Laura Clausen, founder and director of Choice42.
So we just thought, why don't we just put this into a video, something really relatable to mostly younger women, and just put that out there so that hopefully we can reach more women with our message, even if we're not talking with them one-on-one.
Clausen says their mission is to help women choose life, whether their outreach is in person or online. Videos like the animated one we showed you earlier took about 6 months to produce. The group aims to bring hope to women who are told they cannot be mothers. Learn more about Choice for Two online by visiting choicefor2.com. That does it for this edition of EWTN Pro-Life Weekly. Until next time, we'd love to hear from you. Find us on social media at EWTN Pro-Life on all social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're there. You can also send us a message by emailing prolifeweekly@ewtn.com. We love to hear from you. Remember, life is a gift. Your life is a gift. God bless.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
You have the power to save lives.